TV. "So what do you think?" Kathy asked. "I think I want that TV," I said. Nestled in my arms, Prozac gave a disdainful sniff. "Smells like cat chow and Mr. Clean to me." "I'm sure your darling Prozac will adore it here," Kathy gushed. "Won't you, Posy Wozy?" A menacing hiss from Prozac. "You call me Posy Wozy one more time, lady, and your pinky is history." Well, this was it. Time to say goodbye. Giving her one last hug, I plopped Prozac on her downy bed. And suddenly I felt a stab of remorse. Was I doing the right thing? After all, this would be our first Christmas apart. I tried to tell myself Prozac wouldn't know Christmas from any other day in the year, but that cat can sniff out any holiday that involves presents or drumsticks. No, I assured myself, Prozac would be fine. Just fine. This place was the epitome of deluxe. Heck, I'd be happy to stay there if they had Chinese food and Chunky Monkey. "Bye, darling. I promise I'll stop by on Christmas Day and bring you a great big present." She shot me one of her pitiful little orphan Annie looks. "Go ahead. Leave me all alone in the hands of perfect strangers. Break my heart. Desert me in my hour of need." Hey, do I smell salmon? Indeed she did. For at that moment, a First Seasons attendant came bustling into the room with a bowl of charbroiled salmon. "Bye, Pro," I called out, as she swan-dived into the stuff. She glanced up at me vacantly. "Yeah, right, whatever." So much for broken hearts. Chapter 1. "What a palace," I said, surveying Connie Van Houten's hangar-sized living room, with its limestone fireplace, triple crown moldings, and cathedral-quality stained glass windows. "Isn't it fab?" Lance gushed. "And check this out." He gestured to a wall-length étagère filled with Lalique crystal, Fabergé eggs, and other priceless doodads. Good Lord. It's like I'm standing in a branch of the Louvre. "This vase," Lance said, picking up a blue and white porcelain beauty, "is Ming Dynasty. 14 grand. Holy cow," I cried. No wonder Mrs. Van Houten didn't want any pets around. I shuddered to think what havoc Prozac would have wreaked on that étagère. "I'm thinking we'll put up a Christmas tree right here," Lance said, pointing to a space between the limestone fireplace and what looked like a Rodin sculpture. "We can't put up a tree, Lance. What if we spill pine needles on the rug?" I pointed to the heirloom Persian rug beneath our feet. "Don't be silly," Lance said. "We'll put a lining under the tree and be super careful. You know how meticulous I am." He was right about that. From his head full of perfectly groomed blonde curls down to his spotless white Reeboks, Lance was the poster boy for meticulous. I mean, this was a guy who ironed his undies. "I brought all my favorite Christmas ornaments," he was saying, "and I found a fabulous article in Martha Stewart Living about ornaments we can make by hand. Pinecone Santas, acorn garlands, pipe cleaner elves. Won't that be fun?" Oh, groan. There's nothing more exhausting than Lance in the throes of one of his creative jags. "Come on, let me show you to your room," he said, grabbing my suitcase and leading me up a flight of stairs straight out of Downton Abbey. I followed him up the steps, desperately trying to figure a way to get out of any future arts and crafts projects. Upstairs, he ushered me down a hallway past a massive master suite to my room. "Voila," he said, showing me inside. "I gave you the room with a view of the garden." I looked out the window at the garden, a patch of green the size of a soccer field. Off in the distance, I could make out a pool and tennis courts. "Isn't it stunning?" Lance asked, gesturing around the room. Indeed it was. Sumptuous down bedding, quilted silk headboard, thick as a cloud carpeting, all done up in pale peach and dotted with antique furniture. "That chair over there," Lance said, pointing to a delicately carved beauty, "is an authentic Queen Anne, and so is the matching dressing table." I looked at the slender legs of the chair and thought how much Prozac would have loved using them as scratching posts. Yes, it was all for the best that I'd brought Pro to the First Seasons. And yet, I still couldn't help but feel a tad guilty about leaving her there. True, she'd seemed perfectly content when I'd last seen her chowing down on her charbroiled salmon. But what would happen tonight at bedtime? I suddenly